Welcome back, everyone. As we begin the school year, I want us to start with our community rather than with a new program initiative. Our two priorities are to engage families in ways that strengthen student learning and to make inclusive learning and belonging visible in our everyday work. These goals come directly from what our community snapshot shows about TG Bar. By the end of this presentation, every staff member should understand why these goals matter, what are we going to do, what each role contributes, and how we will know whether our work is making a difference. One thing that stood out to me when I reviewed the community snapshot was how many strengths we already have. TG Bar is a B-rated K-8 school serving approximately 350 students. We are an authorized IB primary school program, and we are in a candidacy year for our MYP. Our students experience inquiry-based learning, Spanish instruction, arts, design, physical education, athletics, and enrichment opportunities. We also have a strong network of specialized educators. Our demographics show a culturally diverse school community, with Hispanic and Latino students representing the largest student group. The snapshot tells us what is available. It does not yet tell us who is participating, who feels heard, or which supports are producing the results we intended. Those unanswered questions leads us to our two priorities. The snapshot leads us to two connected priorities. Our priorities are no arbitrary and they're not two more disconnected. Our first goal is to engage families to strengthen learning. This goal grows directly from our vision and being a school family, our mission of building authentic relationships and the family engagement structures we already have. Goal number two is to promote inclusive learning and a positive school culture. And it grows from our commitment to equitable opportunities and from the wide range of learners in need across our campus. So let's begin with family partnership and we'll see what it look like in practice. Our first family engagement practice is a short learning partnership check-in from every student each quarter. These conversations can happen in person, by phone, or virtually. In the elementary grades, the classroom teacher will anchor the check-in. In the middle school, the homeroom teacher will lead the conversation. The purpose is not to report every grade. We will begin with something positive, explain one important learning goal in plain language, and invite the family to share what they already seen at home. We're also going to have student voice. Students will explain their progress and help identify the next steps. And that gives families and students a role beyond receiving just the information. Our second practice is a series of short family learning labs. We will not create another calendar of standalone events. Instead, we'll place 20 minutes learning segments inside structure we already use. Family events and before and after school opportunities. A teacher might model a math conversation that families can use during a normal home routine, a shared reading question, or an inquiry prompt connected to the current IB unit that that have been working. Families will try the strategy and tells us what was useful, unclear, or difficult to use. So our second goal carries the same emphasis on participation into instruction and school culture. Our first inclusivity strategy addressed classroom instruction. Each team will use universal design for learning during weekly planning by asking three questions. How will students engage with their learning? How will they access the content? And how they can demonstrate what they're understanding? The learning target remain common, but the pathway does not have to be identical. Because our schools have one-to-one iPads, we can use visuals, audio, text support, accessible features, and different response formats when appropriate. Technology is one tool, not the entire solution. So inclusive planning also includes modeling, manipulative, structure partner work, and language support. Leadership must protect this time and provide follow-up during this process. Our inclusivity strategy number two is to turn belonging into voice into data. Our second strategy focuses on belonging, representation, and voice. A student can be physically present in a classroom and still feel that their ideas and their identity, language they do not matter. So each quarter, we'll use a short belonging post along with listening opportunities through homeroom, advisory, and family events in who participates. Teachers will lead age-appropriate conversations. Support staff will make participation accessible. Students and family will help us interpret what the information means instead of adults making every conclusion on their behalf. And the leadership team will identify at least one visible response, explain why it was selected, and then determine whether it's improved the experience. To make these strategies equitable, we also need a clear process to deciding where resources should go. So equity means matching resources to the barrier. Our community snapshot gives us a starting point, but we need a repeatable decision cycle. So each month, the leadership team will review student achievement, attendance and behavior, and participation with the family responses. We will examine those measures alongside students' family and staff voice. Each quarter, we will review broader belonging and communication information. The quick question is not whether everyone receiving the same thing, it is who was reached, who participated, who was missing, what barrier might explain the pattern, what resource is most likely to reduce the barrier. Technology is a good example. Every student has an iPad, which gives us a strong universal foundation. However, having a device does not automatically mean every family can navigate an application, open a link, or read a message. So, if evidence shows that the resource is not reducing the barrier, we will change the resources or the approach. We will not blame the student or family for a system that has not been accessible. That is the difference between distributing resources uniformly and allocating them equally. So human flourishment becomes meaningful when we describe what people should actually experience. For students, it is to be known, challenged, confident, and able to make choices. For staff, it's to be trusted, learning together, heard, and sharing responsibility. And for family, it flourishes when they feel respected as partners, able to understand and influence the school decisions. Our community is connected when supports student service and share responsibilities for younger people. The strategies we have discussed create these conditions. Family check-ins require humility, listening, and communication. Inclusive lesson designs reflect fairness and practical wisdom. Students will practice reflection, teamwork, and caring. For these goals to become shared commitments, our communication must also invite participation. So the first strategy for communication that we're going to launch is the goal by listening. Staff will discuss the goals during our opening work. Students will explore them in age-appropriate ways. Homerooms and advisory, families will receive a brief English and Spanish text through the RSD app and the Trio Share. They will be able to respond by text, phone, paper, or in person. The leadership team will summarize the major themes and publish a simple response titled, What We Heard and What We Would Do. That closes the first feedback loop and demonstrates that we're not asking for input, simply to say that we asked. We will judge the effectiveness of the launch by who participated across rows and grade levels, whether accessible options were available, and whether stakeholders can explain the goal and identify at least one way they can contribute. Our strategy number 2 will be the systems keep the goals visible after the beginning of the year launch. So each month, family and staff will receive a short bilingual Our Goal in Action text. Each quarter, we'll share a one-page progress story. That story will include evidence of implementation, a student learning example when appropriate, a barrier we are still working to address, and the next adjustment we make for the plan. Outcome evidence tells us whether families better understand learning expectations, the students report stronger belonging, participation gaps decrease, identify barriers are reduced, and student learning or engagement indicators improve. We use our first cycle to establish a baseline before setting numerical targets. We will not invent targets without knowing at our starting point. Thank you for watching my presentation.